Well, welcome back, everybody. My name is Vanessa, and we are continuing to grow in our educational journey through Rekla's Reflections. And this is where I want to connect globally with teachers around the world to collaborate and work together and change our educational system worldwide. It's not just a place where I want to share nice ideas. I want to do more than that. I want to talk about, discuss, collaborate, and exchange ideas around practical strategies that are rooted in research. We've seen in Finland how education has really changed and improved over the last couple of decades, and their educational system, Finnish pedagogy, is based in research. So we know that these strategies that I talk about at Rekla are tried and true. They really do work. Students do really succeed, and the outcomes really are predictable. CBC in Kenya, this is a system that is being implemented in Kenya, has been for about 5 years now, and they are working towards their 2030 vision, where all of Kenya will be educationally based in competency-based curriculum, CBC. And it's what teachers like you can really use tomorrow. So I want to reach everybody. I know that seems like a big dream, but I really want Rekla to change education. And I need your help. I need teachers, leaders in schools, policymakers. I need everybody to work together towards this vision. So last week we explored the idea or the teaching strategy of circles in the classroom. I shared an example from my own personal experience when I was in Nicaragua in the high school setting there, where moving desks into a circle changed the whole energy of a nervous high school class. So circle time or group discussion, those concepts, teaching strategies matter, because it changes the environment, the learning environment, and it builds trust and reduces stress. But that made me really just stop and think, okay, so what actually sustains the calm? It's great if I can, get my class in one brief moment to be in a circle and discuss, but I want that all day. So what keeps this alive week after week, day after day? And the answer is confirmed again and again in Finnish research, and that is to establish joy and trust in the classroom. Sometimes I think as a teacher, joy is the fluff, right? Joy is the extra. I don't have time for creating joy and changing that environment because I have a syllabus or I have an exam that I have to teach to or something. So yes, our days as teachers are filled with obligations, but this idea of creating joy and trust in the classroom is essential. And it doesn't really take that long. Just a few minutes every day reinforcing the idea of having joy, of that learning is fun. There's not punishment. It's not punitive when we make mistakes, right? If you happen to enjoy reading, I would encourage you to pull out Pasi Sahlberg's book, Finnish Lessons 3.0. And it has a lot of research, it has a lot of information that shores up this idea of joy and trust. It makes it very clear. Finland protects joy. It's not just in the classrooms too, right? It's in the whole culture. And I understand that some of the teachers that I talk to, some of the listeners, my audience, it's really hard to break away from what's culturally expected. But we can do it. I've seen it work in Saudi, I've seen it work in India, I've seen it work in China. So this is possible. Art, music, and play are not considered extras in Finland. They are part of the core curriculum because equity and well-being come before excellence, right? If we do not have students that feel safe, that can share their ideas, that feel good about themselves, they're not tired, they're not hungry, they're not wondering, what's going to happen when I get home? I made mom or dad mad. How am I going to get through the night? Whatever. They cannot concentrate on learning. And so here's the science. Researchers in Finland show that frequent breaks, 15 minutes of recess for every 45 minutes of study, keep cortisol levels low. Cortisol levels are the stress levels, and memory sharper. Even the Finnish National Agency of Education writes well-being into the national curriculum. It's not optional, it's mandatory. So let me ask you guys, what small ritual could you add to your day? Suggestions: a riddle at the start of class, a 1-minute laughter break. That's an easy one, right? A joy jar where students drop notes about what made them smile this week, right? Those are simple, quick, easy things that you can it's just enough to shift that mindset in you and your students. In CBC, joy isn't just a mood, it builds in competencies. So CBC is structured around this concept. When learners laugh together, they practice collaboration, right? When they explore through play, they spark creativity. Joy is fuel for both the teacher and the student. So let's also talk about trust. In Finland, teachers are trusted professionals. As Sahlberg points out, there are no national inspections, there's no rankings, there's no competition. The schools, physical schools, are in each community, and parents aren't sitting at home saying, gee, I wonder if my kid is in the best school, because all the schools work towards the same goals. So no matter what school their children are in, they know, they're assured, they have trust that that school is going to give them the best education that they can. Teachers hold master's degrees, and they're expected to innovate. As much as I talk about student agency, there's also a whole level of concept called teacher agency, right? Where we want, as leaders in schools, we want our teachers to take the lead. We want them to feel strong and able, flexible, have the freedom to be creative in the classroom. That professional trust flows down to students who are given real responsibilities and real autonomy. Education Finland highlights the same thing. Trust-based systems allow teachers to guide, not control. Remember, in some of my other podcasts and blogs, I've talked about how calm is not control. We're talking about wanting our students to have collaborative calm, working together, small groups, peer groups, connecting with each other in the classroom, because research shows that when you're in a group, students tend to learn more. So this question I propose to you: what does trust look like in a CBC classroom, for example, where we have 60, 70 learners and there's no extra resources? It could be as simple as co-creating 3 to 5 class agreements instead of writing rules on the board. Going back to giving the students autonomy. It is their responsibility to control their own behavior and to help their peers in the same way, keeping each other at the student level accountable for learning. Or passing a talking piece. This was one of the main activities that I put in one of my lesson bundles, the Calm lesson bundle. It's a talking piece where they sit in a circle and they pass the talking piece so that even quiet students feel like they can share because they know everybody's going to be quiet and listen. Or the more excited and boisterous students, they understand, they learn respect because they have to listen to their quieter peers. Or even letting one student lead the reflection at the end of the day, talking about giving them ownership of how the day went and asking their peers, creating that conversation. CBC competencies like communication and citizenship require this trust level. They're not worksheets, they're not practice behaviors, and trust makes this practice possible. So, when I think about joy and trust together, joy makes the classroom feel alive, right? You're excited, you're happy, you're enjoying your day. Trust makes it feel safe, and together they create resilience for both the teacher and the student. Sahlberg often reminds us less is more. Finnish teachers teach about 600 hours a year compared to 1,000 plus in the US and the UK. They use the extra time for planning, collaboration, and reflection. That balance is built on trust, and it's what sustains joy. I don't have the luxury of rewriting a timetable, right? That might be what's going on in your mind. Sure, you're suggesting that I provide an extra time of recess or give the kids more playtime. But, I'm not the one in charge of my timetable. So how can we implement this idea of more recess or more playtime? Because it's not downtime where they're just being idle and not thinking. It's learning time. We have to change that mindset. So what can you do? Choose small routines that give breathing space and give students agency. Here are some practical takeaways. This is what I'm challenging you to do as leaders, as teachers this week. Maybe you can try one with me. 1, add one joy ritual, even 1 minute. Just a laughter moment, a riddle, having a student share something they enjoyed previously in the day or at home or on a vacation, right? Creating moments where we're not always focused on academics. 2, add a trust practice. A simple one is co-creating agreements. 3rd, reflect at the end of the week. Did it change the energy? If we do 1 or 2 of these things every day this week, how has it changed the energy in the class? Remember, these are not extras. They are essential, basic foundations because teachers' well-being equals student well-being. If both teachers and students have the flexibility and the freedom to take care of themselves, then the environment will change and learning will happen. One last Rekla Reflection question. Where could you add one small joy ritual or trust building routine in your classroom this week? Remember, calm is the soil, joy and trust are the sunlight and water, the nutrients that help classrooms grow. And if you'd like step-by-step support, the Calm Classroom Toolkit is waiting in the Rekla store, full of ready-made prompts, reflection cards, and large class strategies that bridge Finnish pedagogy and CBC. Until next time, may your class be a place of calm, joy, and trust. Thanks for listening.